Alright. Hey, come here. Do you want to come sit by me? You have to be in this video. It's the last one of the year. Last one of the year. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to, whoa, I was about to say Vlogmas. It's not Vlogmas anymore. This is the last video of the year. That's right. It's the last day of the year. New Year's Eve. Oh my god, you're so cute. So of course I wanted to do some kind of like reflections, year in review sort of thing, touching on what happened this year, but it's been so insane. I didn't even really know how to break it down. So instead of kind of just like going through month by month, because truthfully a lot of the time was just spent moping around, and I made weekly vlogs for the first like 3/4 of the year, so you kind of know what I did every month anyway, but I kind of wanted to just like recap some of my favorite moments, people, places, things. So I have a little superlatives list, kind of like a yearbook, you know. Also, when I googled end of year superlatives for this video, it kept being like, here's things to use in your classroom, and I was like, this is not what I want at all. Read my mind. So instead I'm just gonna go through and talk about some of my favorite things that happened this year, some of the most significant things that happened this year, and kind of just review it all, reflect. Starting off, I have the moment that feels like it could not have possibly happened this year. And for this, I'm gonna say the fact that we went on a cruise in February. Back when COVID was just a distant thought, we had nothing to worry about here in the United States. I just kind of cannot believe that we did that this year. Who would have known that that would probably be my last cruise for a long time? That ties well into my next category, which is favorite video that I posted this year. And I think I'm gonna have to say my Marvel Day at Sea. The whole week, the whole cruise videos were all really fun to make and so fun to look back on. But I think specifically the Marvel Day at Sea one, that was just such a good day. We looked so cute. Speaking of Marvel Day at Sea videos, my next category is the video that took the longest for me to post and edit despite having literally nothing but time on my hands. And that goes to the last day of Marvel Day at Sea, which I posted on October 12th, despite getting off of the ship on February 15th, and that's on depression. My next category is favorite ridiculous cultural moment, and this has to be something else that feels like it absolutely could not have happened this year, which is when all of us just for some reason binge watched Tiger King together. Literally just like the whole internet, everybody I know watched this, and it was like such a bonding cultural moment. Just watching somebody else whose life is definitely crazier than yours, it kind of gives a little bit of solace, despite the fact that all of our lives were about to get absolutely crazy. So next up I have some media categories, so like movies, music, whatever. The favorite movie that is new to me this year. This year I watched Midsummer for the first time, and it was absolutely far and away my favorite thing I watched this year. Going and Running Away to a Swedish Cult, listen, that doesn't sound that bad right now, does it? My favorite album of the year, or also the only album that I listened to for 2 straight months, and the place that I wish I was living instead of America this year, was Chromatica by Lady Gaga. I absolutely loved it. No skips, a perfect album, snubbed at the Grammys, but the Grammys are just a bunch of old white people anyway, so who cares? She transported me, she transcended, she took me to Chromatica. I was physically there.
I'm just a Italian girl from New York.
Also related to music, I have the category for the most surprising, unexpected personal development of the year, which is me liking Taylor Swift. If you knew me from 2010 to about 2018, you probably know that I used to like really hate Taylor Swift. And I couldn't even really tell you why. I decided this year to give her a chance because I decided to stop hating things that are made by women just for the sake of hating them. And surprise, turns out she has a lot of really good music, and I was withholding some really fun poppy bops throughout my life. So I got over it, and she released not 1 but 2 albums this year, and they're both really good, so what can I say? I'm a fan now. My favorite TV shows of the year were all shows that were not new this year, but I watched them for the first time. So I have 2 Star Wars shows, Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, both of which were amazing. And if you're a Star Wars fan and you think you're too good to watch animation, I just don't know what to say to you, because some of the best Star Wars ever is in those 2 shows, so you're missing out. I also watched Avatar for the first time this year and obviously fell in love with it, and I rewatched Community over quarantine, and it was such a delight. That show is so good.
Oh, they've got a class on how to write jokes.
Oh, don't take that. I dropped it after the lesson on setups. The professor is so old.
My favorite new old lady hobby is cross-stitching. I got into this over quarantine, and it is so relaxing. It's so nice. I just put on like a nice calming playlist, and it forces me to like slow down and really pay attention. And I gave out a few as gifts for Christmas this year, and everybody just loved them, and it's just so fun, and I'm really happy that I picked it up, and I'm gonna keep doing it into the new year as well. My absolute favorite quarantine hobby though was playing Animal Crossing. This should not be a surprise. Literally every day of quarantine for many hours, and it got me through a lot. Favorite friendship moment of the year, my Lord of the Rings book club with my two best friends. It was so fun. We would all just read it and then have a little book club and FaceTime and talk about it, and then we would go like play Among Us or something, and it was just such a cute little pure moment. It was so much fun. Obviously we all had to adjust a lot of friendship activities this year because of COVID. Luckily I've never lived close to my best friends. Literally in our entire 10+ year friendship I've never lived near them, so we are experts at FaceTiming, counting down to press play on a movie, all this stuff, and we were more than prepared for this. Related to the Lord of the Rings, my favorite tweet I sent out this year, this one. Segueing into some more Twitter content, also we're kind of getting into a political section here since the election was such a huge source of stress for me this year. The most exciting Twitter day of the year, October 2nd. Early hours of October 2nd. Picture it. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. That was, wow. The internet was electric that night. That was like the most exciting 48 hours. For legal purposes, I will not elaborate any further on that content, but it was a very exciting time. The most iconic mascot of the year goes to Gritty for his role in the presidential campaign. The moment of the vice presidential debate that gave me the most serotonin was this.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. I'm speaking.
My favorite beverage of the year that got me through the 2020 election is this Blackberry Moonshine. The most on-brand Christmas gift I received this year is this pink Eat the Rich sweatshirt. Thank you to my brother. And the overall best moment of the year, I actually have two to talk about, and funny enough, they both happen on the same day, November 7th. The first one is when I was in an Atlanta cemetery and I found out the news that Joseph Robinette Biden is going to be our next president. At 11:28 on Saturday, November 7th, we are standing in a graveyard in Atlanta when the election was called for President Joe Biden and our first female vice president, Kamala Harris. I'm about to start crying. I literally cried so much in that cemetery, and I'm on Prozac, so crying does not happen a lot. So it was such a good moment. I'm not even kidding here when I say that it was the highlight of my year. I called my whole family. All my siblings got crying voicemails where I was like, oh my god, I know you're asleep because it's 7 o'clock in the morning there. We won, blah, 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 blah. It was like so embarrassing. This is the best day of my life. And of course, second best moment of the year, a moment that I think about every single day, Four Seasons Total Landscaping. You just can't write them like that. You literally couldn't write that better if you tried. Okay, I'll be a little bit serious. The last two are gonna be actual serious categories reflecting on the year. The moment that I'm most proud of, I'm just gonna say making it through this last semester, because it was just really insane. I took an absolutely ridiculous course load this semester. I had 17 credits. I was so swamped all of the time, and I was dealing with election stress, going back to work, having a panic attack probably once a week. This whole year has been really tough for my mental health, which I'll talk about a little bit more in a minute, but it was just kind of figuring myself out. I had just started my medication, and it was really just a difficult time. It was an adjustment period, and here I am on the other side. Finished all my classes. I got all A's. I feel more well adjusted than ever, and I feel like I really came out the other side of this year stronger than I went into it, and I'm just really proud of myself for that. So there's a little braggy moment for me. And then that really segues right into my last category, which is the MVP of the year, which goes to none other than Miss Fluoxetine, Prozac. That's right, she really got me through this year. A special shout out to my therapist and my psychiatrist for helping me out as well, but honestly, you guys, I cannot stress enough how much Prozac has helped me. It was a very difficult year, and I had a lot of moments where I didn't know what was going to happen to my life, what was going on in my head. I got so frustrated at myself that I couldn't just be normal. Quarantine was just very trying for me. I don't know, it led to a lot of realizations and epiphanies that really kind of just led me to getting my mental health in check and getting myself under control. So I started Prozac in July, and it has literally transformed my outlook. It kind of clears it up a little bit. It makes me not care about the things that don't matter and focus my attention on the things that do, and for that I am just endlessly grateful. I still have bad days, obviously, like I still have a lot of low moments, but I feel like I'm more secure in myself. I feel like I am closer to the people around me. I understand myself better. I have a long way to go, but I feel like I've come a long way too, so I'm pretty proud of that. So that is kind of my little year-end review. It was a crazy, crazy time this year, obviously, as we all know, and I can only hope that next year won't be quite so insane. Hopefully with the vaccine coming, we can kind of hope to get back into the swing of things. The main thing that I really, really miss doing is traveling, and I really hope that we can kind of get back into that this year and see some positive change in our country in regards to coronavirus and just in general. If you live in Georgia, don't forget the runoff elections are January 5th. You still have time to go and vote in person. Yeah, there's still a lot of good stuff that happened this year, and there's still a lot of good to do in the coming new year. So that's all I have to say, I guess. If you watched this video or you watched any of my videos this year, I thank you so much for coming with me on this ridiculous journey this year. I hope you made it through 2020 relatively unscathed, and you have a lovely new year, New Year's Eve. Please be safe, don't go out, wear a mask, all that stuff. Donate to Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock, and vote blue, Georgians, and I'll see you guys in 2021. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.